I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Morrachi has joined us. Hi.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself
Hello,
to everybody.
Sure. Hello, I'm Morrachi. I am a space delivery lady, and I do a lot of deliveries that are very time consuming. So obviously in that spare time I wanted to do something, and I decided to start streaming.
Who is Alex?
Alex is my ship's internal AI system, and he is an extremely human-like AI who is very sassy.
All those AIs.
He comes onto this stream every once in a while to join me, and since he's super duper smart, so when I don't know what I'm doing, I sometimes get him over here.
Yeah, but I bet he knows he's smart too.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah, gotta watch.
Gotta keep him in check.
Yeah, you gotta keep him in check. How long have you been a delivery person, and how long have you decided to be a VTuber?
Both things. I'm actually pretty new. So I started doing this about less than a year ago. I started in July. Yes. At the beginning of July. So it hasn't been very long at all. At least I don't feel like that was a very long time.
Well, folks can check. There is a website that you have that has a lot of details as to how you got started.
Oh, yeah. I spent a lot of time making a website just so I could put a lot of content on there because I had a lot of ideas for this, and I wanted to write down all these different stories, and I wanted to be able to get the personality of Morrachi across and just like her life. And it just is a little bit of a creative outlet for me. I've never been much of a writer, but this just was really fun. So you can find that over there on my website.
And we'll have the links
along with a few other things.
Yeah, we'll have the links up on the description for the interview here. But you say you've not been much of a writer. I'll beg to differ. I've read this, and I think it's very well done.
Well, thank you.
Maybe it's something you haven't done in the past. Is it something you just kind of started doing, or have you really wanted to do? Was this something that you just kind of picked up later, or is it something that you wanted to do early on and never really had the chance to?
I actually have never been much of a reader or a writer, so when this came about, it's just something that kind of started filling my head, and I wanted to get it all down because it just sort of came to me. I mean, obviously, I went to high school, I went to college, and I know how to write, but
right.
I wouldn't say I was passionate or super interested in it at all.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I think
it's come out good. I think it's doing extremely well, and it's great that you're able to keep up with that and continue your careers. Besides that, the concept of what you're doing with your VTubing is an interesting one, and it's a little different. At least you've titled it a little differently than some folks, where it's a very calming gameplay, and you've used the term ASMR on occasion on your description. So if you could explain what you mean by that.
Sure. So it was a little bit of recently I found ASMR, I'd say over the last 5 years. And I was very entertained by it. I got the tingles. I felt all of that stuff. And it was weird because I had actually had those feelings beforehand when I was a child, and I had no words for it. It just was, oh yeah, that's cool. That person drawing is, very interesting, and just made me feel a certain way. And when I found ASMR, it actually had a name for it. I knew exactly what it was, and I really clung on to it. So when I started to do VTubing and streaming in general, it was all very new to me, the streaming and VTubing. I hadn't really known about it. So I had been doing a lot of research, and I noticed that there weren't a whole lot of people that were streaming video games with the intention of doing ASMR alongside of it.
Okay.
Um, it just wasn't something I saw, and I thought that would be a really good place for me to be because I'm not a super like energetic person. I'm not like super hyped or anything. So I felt like this would really be my niche and I'd be able to excel there. And so when I do a stream for streaming and just kind of relaxing, I try not to, do any kind of screaming. I try to stay pretty calm. And every once in a while I'll do some like mouth sounds, some classic mouth sounds that people do, but I never do like full on traditional ASMR.
Well, it's a very interesting concept, and I think in listening to your streams, I think you do it extremely well. Your voice is very good for it, and you don't hyper pronounce things or project too much for someone to not be able to relax and listen to what you're doing. You also, I imagine, have to curate what you're doing a little bit and not jump into like lethal company and try to do an ASMR
Oh,
stream.
n no, I will play that as well.
Oh,
So,
really?
yes, I will
Okay.
play collabs with people, but I don't label those ASMR at all
No.
whenever I'm collabing with someone.
If you can do that with
But I
legal,
will,
if you can do that with lethal company, I will tip more than my hat to you. Yeah, I don't think that's
no,
possible.
yeah. One of my favorite games that I like to play when I'm feeling down is 7 Days to Die. So I, I I can play that real chill too. What's kind of fun about certain games or any game in particular is that I can kind of come up with different sounds and different noises to make alongside the game so that you get a little bit of that ASMR effect in there too while I just play the game.
That's
Guns
neat.
are a
That
good way to do that
Yeah,
actually.
I think that shows to me that you've got a game plan and you've thought this through and it's working for you, obviously, as people are tuning in for it. I noticed that you've recently been playing Fallout New Vegas,
hmm
which can be a very stressful game at times. I've played it many, many, many times now. Um, but
Oh,
but
okay.
you've been able to keep it at a level where people can have in the background and listen to what you're doing or watch intently and not be jarring. That's pretty skillful there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I guess I've had experiences in my life that have been very like crazy.
Hmm.
And so now that I'm a little bit older, I am not very afraid or I don't really get nervous very much, especially when it comes to streaming. I feel like I'm coming in there and I'm just there to help people relax. I'm here to entertain folks. My stream is very, I want to focus on the people. So it's very interactive. I really enjoy talking to the folks in chat. And I take it seriously. I take VTubing very seriously. It's something that I want to make a career. So I try to make better content every time. I try to do different experiments to see what works well, what people are liking, how I can change things up or make things better.
Hmm.
And I just want to excel. I want to excel at this, and I want other people to have a good time watching me so that they can relax, they can have a good time, and the community that has been starting to form recently has been just fantastic. The people that hang out in my chat are just amazing. I
That's
really, I really like them a lot.
that's tremendous. I mean, it sounds like you're enjoying yourself immensely here.
I am. There's been so many fun times where I've just been in stream and funny things will happen. One of the other things that I like to do besides just variety and ASMR are parties.
Hmm.
And the most recent party we had, I do them about monthly.
Hmm.
The most recent party was for my dog Twilight. You might hear him every once in a while. He can
Yes.
be naughty, but he's also sort of he's kind of a main character in the stream too.
Yep.
So we celebrated his birthday, and one of the things people got to do is they got to pick out presents for him. And he is really skilled at a lot of things, but he can open up his own presents. So we did that on stream, like live cam.
Oh, wow.
And it was so much fun. People loved it. I loved it. The dog loved it.
Yeah.
Everyone was having an amazing time. So The parties. I love throwing parties for people. It's just a super good time.
With your collaborations that you do you have a
Hmm.
good a handful of folks that you're able to collaborate with at any time, or have you been trying to expand your
Oh,
network out?
yes. The folks, the people I've met are just amazing.
Hmm.
I used to be a part of a online streaming service called VStream,
Hmm.
or yeah, VStream,
Right.
and it was just for VTubers. And I met so many amazing people there. Unfortunately, the site had to close down last month,
Right.
and so a bunch of us were kind of left out, like with nowhere to not nowhere to go, but we didn't have the platform anymore, which was really important to us. A lot of us were really, hoping it grew and would, level up to, the big time.
Right.
I actually grew pretty quickly on that platform as well. I think that's where a lot of my following came from over to Twitch.
Hmm.
But alongside of that came so many good friendships that were made. So the collabs are very natural. Most of the people I collab with are from VStream as well. Really good people.
Yeah, it's good to have that at this level. You can kind of rely on them to not take it to levels you don't want to take it, and
Yeah, and
and
we
they can
have
rely
like
on you
a
too the same
system.
way. They can rely
Oh,
on you the same way. So it's good to have that trust between you.
yeah, we all have before we start streaming, I personally like to make sure whenever I collab with someone new, for example, that I do a little bit of an interview beforehand just to make sure that we're going to jive, make sure that this is going to work out okay.
Oh
So
yeah.
that it's not like a weird like 2 hour stream, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
it just can't. There are just sometimes, and it's not always a fault of anybody, and whatever type
no.
of entertainment you're doing, if you work with somebody, and I've done it on
Mhm.
broadcasts before, where I was doing a basketball game, and myself or the color man we just did not click, and there's
Yeah,
nothing you can do about that. Nobody's
it's
trying.
chemistry.
Yeah, it really is chemistry. But
Hmm. Hmm.
but now you've kind of got that already built in as you start to take off on Twitch, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that I found these folks who are dedicated to their VTuber selves,
This is
and I'm so glad that I can collab with them. By the
Yeah.
way, that's Twilight. You can hear him in the background. He's
Yep.
like the star of my show, really.
Hello, Twilight. Uh,
He's a little corgi, a Pembroke Welsh corgi,
oh,
and he's just
cor-
great.
corgis are something else.
They're bossy and they're bold and they have such a personality for such a little dog. Oh my
Yep,
goodness.
yep, they're fun to play with. I'll tell you that. A friend of
Hmm.
mine had a corgi, and I was driving him crazy, well, a few years back. The Have you always wanted to be an entertainer type of person?
No,
Not at
I
all.
actually no. But the funny thing is that so when you're in high school, they make you take those like job personality tests.
Hmm.
It was like, okay, you'd make a great fitness instructor. I'm like, ugh, I wouldn't want to be a fitness instructor. Ew. But it's because now that I look back, I'm like, yeah, I probably would have made a really good fitness instructor because I love talking. I like motivating people.
Hmm.
But then as I got older and started realizing I love making things, I love being entrepreneurial, I like kind of being bold and out there. And I started realizing, okay, maybe I can do things like paint nights, for example. So I went out and I got a job doing paint nights where I got up in front of a big, huge crowd of people and I painted for them. Wow,
Whoa,
that was an interesting experience. I'll have to tell you about that sometime, but
whoa,
woofda.
yikes! That takes some spine.
Oh, yeah, it's
Oh,
interesting.
oh
I got
my
so many
God.
stories about that,
Yeah.
but I think that it really kind of cultivated there. And when I actually have another little tidbit.
Hmm.
It kind of grew into VTubing naturally, I
Hmm.
guess is where I'm going with this,
Hmm.
but I never planned on it
So,
because because when I was 18 years old, I was hanging out underneath my bed. I had a loft bed,
uh-huh.
and I decided I was going to start making YouTube videos. I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago, by the way. And my mom comes into the room and she says, "Honey, you look it's so depressing watching you in here talking to yourself." And I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I shut my computer and I never looked at, recording again until many years later. So my mom doesn't know that I'm a VTuber.
Thanks, Ma.
I'm not going to tell her. Well, yeah, because it made me so nervous to try to talk to a camera again.
Yeah.
It really affected me, unfortunately. And I'm just glad that at this point I'm able to move past that and kind of like take this for my own. Like, this is mine.
Hmm.
This is what I enjoy doing. And, I can share that with a lot of other people.
Yeah. And having the avatar there with you, that does give you that little extra uh, shield.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. That so you're not really directly in front of the camera. It is you, but it's also at the end of your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's funny because I actually didn't know about VTubing until I started streaming, back in July.
mhm.
So it's really new to me actually, but the reason why I wanted to be a VTuber in particular was because I didn't want to do face cam because of like just the privacy and just knowing about like what people can do with like AI these days. And I want to stay very far away from that.
Mhm.
And so that's why I decided this fits me best.
Well, I can't blame you
And I
about the
love
AI stuff. That's scary.
it is really crazy what they can do out there, and there are things that I would love to, people that I would like to support in getting things done for them. For example, folks who get deepfaked
Hmm.
on, adult subjects.
Right.
So, there are things that I think, I'd like to help in areas like that
Yeah.
because I would hate that to happen to me and the poor like face,
Yeah.
streamers.
Yeah. I'd like to help them by utilizing a softball bat I haven't used in several years.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
Well,
advocating violence, but I'm certainly not
sure.
advocating violence. As
You
far as
got some righteous anger in there.
yeah, yeah, just well, people will find ways to ruin everything if they really try to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds like you've got things going. I mean, it sounds like you've got a game plan. Things have settled in for you, and maybe not the way that you originally planned it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's all led to this for you, and it's going pretty well.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I really have. It's been kind of unexpected. I didn't really know where this was going to go at first,
Hmm.
but I did know as I went forward that I wanted to take this more and more seriously. And now I see this as a job, really.
Hmm.
A job that I enjoy. I love the entrepreneurship of it. I love the research I get to do. I love entertaining people. So it's been really, really fun.
Cool. And it sounds like I can hear you smiling from here. I really
You'd be
can.
right.
I really can. And the fact that you've gone to the next level on some of these things, especially I use the term marketing occasionally,
Mm,
and people hate it, but
I don't.
it's from the old radio days. You do have to find your audience a little bit and cater a little bit to them and find ways to bring your audience in if you're going to make a career out of it. And
For sure.
and how have you've expanded to you have your own website, you have all the different media that you can play off of in the different platforms. Sounds to me like you've got a business plan.
I am working on one, yes.
Hmm.
It's funny because actually the last couple days I felt like I was getting a little, I don't know, sporadic, and I decided I need to sit down and really just write out all of my thoughts and get it all out on paper. And decided I'm actually going to write one soon. I've started it. I kind of know what I want to do, but then at the same time, I like to be very organized. I guess I could make this point. In my real life, I am a project manager, so
Hmm.
I take like organization and everything super seriously.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and looking at marketing and things like that, social media marketing, yeah, it can make your head spin, but I think that if you want to entertain more people, if you want to make more people happy, you got to go find those people. And to find those people, you got to go do that research.
Yeah, and you have to make the
Mhm.
right choices. You and people did this in the radio business back when it was really a business. um, Sometimes you make a choice that helps you in the short term, but not the long term, and it hurts you long term. Or you can do something that helps you long term, but doesn't necessarily help you short term. There's a
Mm.
lot of mature decisions you have to make along the way too.
Yeah, I mean, think about taxes.
I,
Everything that you earn through Twitch, that's not just free money. Like that has to be accounted for. It's income. You got to go do your taxes on that. Tax man's going to come knock on your door if you don't.
you're gonna make me think about
So,
taxes?
oh yeah, I'll make you
Oh
think about taxes.
no, I paid my taxes 10 years ago. I'm not paying any more.
Good luck.
Yeah, that
Oh yeah.
I'd be the one they find immediately. It's but just right on top of the pile. Go get him. Now, there is a lot of things that if you're going to do this as a career or as at least a money-making enterprise,
Mm.
that you do have to take these things into consideration. Possible sponsorships. What does that mean for you? Is that going to be positive or negative for your product?
Right.
Um, Collaborations, even I imagine. If you end up, if somebody comes up and says, "I'd like to collaborate with you," but they've got a couple of swords hanging over their head, do you want
Yeah.
to sacrifice the short term for the long term? That type of thing.
It's interesting that you bring that up about the the collab because as I told you earlier, like I do actually interview people before um will collab with them.
Right.
That includes like a big like form that I make them fill out.
Oh, neat.
But oh yeah. But one of the things that I've realized becoming a V, well, I like to call it V, I like to call myself a V streamer. I
Hmm.
just like the sound of it a little bit better. It's VTuber, but
Well,
um,
you're also a little biased. I mean, come on,
a
really,
little bit,
you're a
yeah,
little
just a little.
biased. Yeah. Hmm.
Um, but one of the things that I started learning was that there is a lot of drama out there for VTubers, and sometimes people are even so gritty nitty gritty as to say, hey, if you're following this person, I'm going to unfollow you,
Hmm.
or things like that. Or someone will say, oh, don't follow, watch out for this person or that person, and
Yeah.
you don't always know who's doing what or if there's drama behind a certain person. So
Yeah.
that can be kind of confusing sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
Like just to keeping up with all of that and making sure that like you said, choosing your decisions wisely.
Yeah. Yeah. They gotta keep your head on your shoulders, and sometimes you get up in the clouds with this, and you get pulled over by a big name, possibly, and then you get used and tossed out. What did that help you with?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're looking for establishing real relationships with people online, you got to go a lot farther than even what you're doing, which is filling out a form. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you don't, you know, say hi, and they're not. You don't adopt them to your family first time you meet them. It's There's a lot of things you have to do to do that, and it sounds like to me that you've got. In fact, folks, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there if that's okay with you. There are videos on your YouTube channel that have got some instructional things to them. Folks,
Oh yeah, yep.
yeah, it goes back a little ways, but I think folks who are getting started or thinking about taking their channels to the next level, they would be very good for them to watch those and take heed to what you say.
Yeah, if folks want to check those out, sure, definitely, you can go check those out. Just like a little bit of tidbits of, things that I've learned over the years as being, project manager that really just they bleed into, being a VTuber. So
Yeah,
if that's helpful to anybody, yeah,
yeah.
feel free to go check that out.
Folks, it doesn't cost you any money.
No.
Now, hiring a project manager might cost you a little money.
Yeah, just a little.
Just a little bit. Uh, what have you got planned for the channel for yourself? What have you got any big things coming up this year?
Yes, I am planning on doing a marathon of sorts in the next uh, probably month or two.
Mm,
I haven't decided on a date yet. It depends on my IRL job.
right.
We'll see where that goes, and it will determine when I do this marathon. But I'm planning on doing that. It's going to be a 7 day, 24/7 stream. So I'm looking forward to trying to plan all of that out. I'm hoping to do like collabs during that time period. I'm hoping to do some different ASMR hand cam, dog cam, trivia, also like chat plays games with
Yeah.
me as well.
Well,
So
how about this? How about part of it? You and I do a segment.
a segment?
Yeah, you come up and we'll do it. We'll do a live interview during that segment.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'd like that.
just let me know. We'll do it. We'll do a little thing to promote it for you, and I'll come on and I'll bore the people for a while. How about that?
Yay!
There's
I
your
love it.
there's
Let's
your
do it.
ASMR for you right there. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
hey,
Yeah, this one's not ASMR. Sorry, folks.
hey, it's wonderful to talk with you. It sounds like you got everything going real good for you. We're going to have the links in the description for the video. Check out what Morrachi's got going. It's good stuff, and a person who's got their head on straight and wants to entertain you. Uh, Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you for interviewing me. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. I love watching your other ones too. Your other interviews are so interesting and just yeah, you got some good stuff here, man.
Thank you.
I just want to give a special thanks to my moderator Renji, Dogu, and Ron. They are very wonderful people who have been helping me out of the goodness of their own hearts for a long time, and I just want to say thanks.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.